guys, how's it going? Yes, in my rubbers all day, every day if I could, 24/7, but not possible because, well, Queensland, things like hygiene, safety, all that sort of stuff, and mank. Anyways, was looking at a question by a person. They've been a couple for 4 years and they're looking at CNC, like consensual non-consent, and talking about knocking out their partner to do some things and using medication and what they could do to knock them out safely. My advice, don't even go there, especially in this day and age with trigger babies, with retroactive withdrawal of consent. I think it's retroactive. Anyway, regret play. When people are consented to play, then they go back. You know what? I didn't like that. Say I on second thought, I didn't agree to that at all. I liked it at the time, but now that I think about it, no, I didn't. So I'm going to say consent violation. I don't care how long you've been together. CNC, particularly when it involves the loss of consciousness, there's just too much that can go wrong. If you're using medications, that could have a reaction to the medications that may see them lose unconscious, which could be like, oh yeah, they lost unconscious, hey cool, but it could be a reaction where they're going to unconscious due to an allergy. If they're unconscious, obviously, if anything goes wrong or anything happens, the building sets on fire, they can't give consent, they can't give a proper reaction, and say, oh well, the body will react. Well, the body reacts anyway. There's plenty of people who about death spasms, who go, oh no, they're still alive. Go, no, the body's just doing a thing. So just don't do it. It's not worth it. Apart from the legal aspect, there's a safety aspect there as well. Any loss of unconsciousness within kink or BDSM play is not a good thing. There's been times when I play with people and they were starting to feel a bit faint. I immediately stopped whatever play and put them down. They said, oh, we could have gone further. I said, no. Loss of consciousness is not good. Any sort of play where you lose consciousness is not good. Once you lose consciousness, the Wi-Fi is out there for a bit, is that you can no longer give consent or enthusiastic consent, whatever you want to call it. And you can't call red, you can't stop the play. You can no longer think about, when it comes time to debriefing, what happened, give your thoughts on it, all that stuff. Just watching a whole lot of curlews this morning. They're pretty awesome. They're like extended pigeons or something. Really cool. Anyway, yeah, advice, don't do it. Just don't do it. Just a second. Pretty cool birds. Anyway, don't do it. There's they're asking about other ways like to restrain with minimal no movement. Just buy yourself a whole lot of good restraints, cuffs, arm cuffs, leg cuffs, waist cuffs, all that sort of thing, for the restraint and all that. Or learn how to tie a rope or do a knot. I'm sure you can learn how to tie a knot. Scarves, all that sort of thing. Even depending on the play that you want to do, you can use what they call a vac bed, which basically shrink wraps you, but you still have the good ones will still have like either a gas mask or definite holes for breathing, because the last thing you want is for someone to pass out and choke, die or suffocate. So there's plenty of ways you can work around that, and keep in mind that sometimes fantasies should just stay fantasies because of the inherent danger of it. Think about it, you can entertain the idea, you can verge on it, you can almost fulfill it, but some things really are a bit dangerous. And look at it from this perspective, is that you want to be able to play and do this again and again. Why do it just once? You're going to be just a one-trick pony. Yeah, no. Anyway, CNC, loss of unconsciousness, don't do it. Don't do anything that involves a loss of unconsciousness. If someone's verging on losing their consciousness, stop your play. That's, make sure that the person's okay. Make sure that they're not going into shock. It takes different people anywhere from like 10-15 minutes to half an hour or two to, be up and walking around. Just be aware of that, and also be aware that people could have medical conditions that could impact and have a negative effect on whatever play you're doing. So even if they didn't use medications and all the inherent dangers that come with medications, any other sort of physical things could be, a lot of people talk about choke play. I don't do that because, blood clots and plaque on your arteries and veins, strokiness, stuff like that. And some of the play, I totally encourage having a spotter or someone with advanced medical training, like a medic, there with you, or a nurse or a doctor, more than one person, for any sort of advanced play where things can go wrong really badly. It's always good to have someone to help you. If things go wrong, learn CPR, putting people into a recovery position, because sometimes when people lose consciousness, their breathing can get really shallow, and they can basically suffocate. So roll them on the side, recovery position. Look at doing first aid or advanced first aid. Anyway, advice on CNC. If anyone has asked you to do CNC, don't do it. Ask them why they have a fantasy, and if it should possibly be only just a fantasy. There are things you can do which can give the illusion and the fantasy, but the actual reality is it is way too dangerous legally, physically, mentally and emotionally for a lot of people, not just the people who ask for it, like the S types, but also for the D type as well, okay? I've got to stress that it could be bad on all fronts. Know what you're talking about, do your research, look at all the things that can go wrong, do your own research, pluses, minuses, dangers, safety, all that might, but as I said, my advice is don't do anything that makes anybody lose unconsciousness. If it's verging on that, cut them down, stop play, take care of them, do aftercare, okay? Anyway, that's enough for a hump day, humping around. And look, more grass. They do really good work here. Look at this. I don't know, the sight of green grass is pretty awesome. I like it. Anyway, love you guys. Bye.